Keir Starmer's authoritarian and impractical decisions are dragging Britain towards a devastating disaster. The budget was just unveiled last week, and yet we're already witnessing tragic news caused by the Labour government. The hands of this failing administration are now stained with the blood of innocent people. In today's video, we're going to break down these issues in detail, so don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on Britain's hottest news. The farming sector is currently sinking into a severe mental health crisis, as Rachel Reeves's budget has disrupted countless farmers' lives, leaving them questioning the purpose of their lifelong efforts. Last night, TV presenter and farmer Gareth Wyn-Jones reported the heartbreaking suicide of an elderly farmer. He shared that he had just received a call from another farmer whose father had tragically taken his own life. Gareth revealed that this farmer had been under extreme pressure and stress, factors that had profoundly affected his mental health. Gareth called this an incredibly sorrowful moment, expressing his deepest sympathies to the bereaved family, hoping they find a way to cope with this painful loss. However, he couldn't hide his concern, fearing that this may not be the first nor the last tragedy we'll witness. He observed that the agricultural sector is facing a critical crisis, with farmers grappling with relentless hardships, stress, and increasing pressures from worsening policies and working conditions. Gareth unhesitatingly called on the government to re-evaluate its policies, particularly regarding rural communities, farming families, and the impact of these decisions on the broader economy. Gareth's statement was a powerful response to an anonymous social media post written by a farmer's son, whose father tragically committed suicide just before the government's budget was announced. John Charlesworth, 78, was found dead on his 70-acre farm in Barnsley, Yorkshire on Tuesday, just one day before the government's budget was revealed. His son Jonathan, 46, disclosed that his father decided to end his life out of despair over the possibility that his family would lose their £2 million estate, which had belonged to them since 1957. The government's tax increase policy, proposed by the Prime Minister, left Mr Charlesworth with no alternatives. Jonathan said that hearing Labour's plans, particularly ending the inheritance tax exemption for agricultural land transfers, was the last straw for his father, who had long been caring for his ailing wife. In a message to Sir Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves, Jonathan expressed his emotions bluntly. "I want to tell them that they killed my father. He didn't know the specifics, but all the rumours surrounding the policy left him so anxious and fearful that he couldn't bear it any longer." Jonathan described his father as a truly kind man, always ready to help anyone and never one to tolerate injustice. "My father was the best person you could meet. He would do anything for others. I don't think anyone could say a bad word about him," Jonathan said, heartbroken. Jonathan also shared that the struggles his family had faced shaped his outlook on the future, adding bitterly, "We can't expect anything better anymore." Just last week, Rachel Reeves used her budgetary powers to impose a 20% tax on agricultural property valued over £1 million, instead of maintaining the previous inheritance tax exemption. According to her, this move aims to prevent wealthy individuals from buying farmland to dodge inheritance taxes. However, this policy is generating significant fear among ordinary farmers, with many potentially pushed to the brink of bankruptcy. Concerns are mounting about the negative impact this policy may have on farmers' mental health, people who are already bearing a tremendous burden in both their work and personal lives. In a House of Commons session on Friday, Richard Tice, deputy leader of the Reform UK party, openly expressed his concern about the mental health of farmers, particularly those in their 80s and 90s, who are shouldering the burden of family responsibilities. He warned that these individuals are under such immense pressure that they are seriously considering ending their lives before the government's new tax policies take effect. This, he argued, not only signifies helplessness, but also reflects the government's ignorance of the suffering farmers are enduring. Following the budget announcement, Luke Evans, Conservative MP for Hinckley and Bosworth, sharply criticised the situation, asserting that farmers are among those most affected by mental health issues due to poor harvests, financial instability, and restrictive government policies. Evans did not hesitate to claim that Labour Party policies have worsened this situation, with thoughtless decisions leading to severe repercussions for the farming community. He argued that this is the product of a combination of factors irresponsibly created by the government, deeply harming those with long-term commitments to agriculture. According to a 2021 survey conducted by the Royal Agricultural Institute, as many as 36% of farmers in England are at risk of depression, while a significant 47% are battling prolonged anxiety symptoms. These alarming figures highlight the government's lack of support and care for the agricultural sector. In response, charities have swiftly set up mental health hotlines specifically aimed at farmers teetering on the brink of psychological crisis to help them cope with the difficulties during this challenging time. Soon after the Chancellor announced the budget on Wednesday, the son of Mr. Charlesworth, an elderly farmer, posted anonymously on Facebook, revealing that his father had taken his own life after facing insurmountable financial difficulties. This post quickly went viral on social media and was later verified by The Telegraph. The account describes Mr. Charlesworth's death as a human cost of government policies or those under consideration by the Labour Party. John Charlesworth, also known as Philip, devoted his life to caring for his family farm and tending to his wife as she battled dementia. After purchasing the farm in 1957, he eventually passed it down to his son. Jonathan, his son, disclosed that his father was struggling immensely with financial hardship and that the budget announcement was the last straw that broke his resolve. Jonathan shared, "My father was in financial despair, with no cash flow and no ability to borrow due to unstable income. This truly made him feel hopeless. I believe he woke up every morning and thought, 'The government won't be able to take our farm. I've worked too hard to keep it, not just for myself but for my children and grandchildren.' But then he would think, 'I've had a good life. My wife is near the end. I have 2 houses on a 70-acre farm. If we could sell them and get £2 million, then what? But if we're taxed 40% on that, as some suggest, we wouldn't survive.'" Jonathan also called on farmers to take action, suggesting a 1-week strike in which they would refuse to sell any produce, arguing this would have a stronger impact than any protest in London. He believes that the government fails to grasp what farmers are facing. He declared that the government's tax assault on agricultural assets is the final nail in the coffin of British farming, pushing the industry to the brink of collapse. The president of the National Farmers Union also issued a stark warning that if the government pursues this tax policy, farmers will not sit idly by, but will stand up to defend their rights. Tom Bradshaw, president of the organisation representing over 46,000 farming and agricultural businesses, asserted that the current policy is unacceptable and must be reversed immediately, or British agriculture will cease to exist. However, on Sunday, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, defended this policy, arguing that the government has been forced to cut tax incentives due to excessive pressure on public finances. In an interview with the BBC One Sunday programme, she stated that agricultural property tax relief is no longer viable, as 40% of the relief benefits only the wealthiest 7% of landowners. She insisted that curbing these incentives is essential to ensure that public services, such as healthcare, transport and education, continue to operate, while strengthening the nation's public finances. Nevertheless, when questioned about Mr. Charlesworth's case, South Yorkshire Police confirmed that they attended the scene but declined to comment on the cause of death. As it is believed, there are no suspicious circumstances surrounding it. What do people think about the issues we have discussed in today's video? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest political developments in the UK. Thank you all, and see you in the next videos.